Well, good afternoon and welcome. Glad you could make it today. So let's get started. So we're talking about the Apple event entitled Scary Fast. Couple of interesting things about this Apple event, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. This is Go for Lunch for October 31st, 2023, brought to you by GoFor Technology, and I am Roger Harmon, your host, and we're here to make your technology work for you. Well, this is World Savings Day, so this would be a good day to look at where your savings are and if they're paying you a decent interest rate. Many banks are paying less than 1%. The national average is 0.035%, which obviously is not much. But there are a lot of financial institutions, including Apple, that are paying more than 4% for a regular savings account. So you may want to take stock in where your money is and see if you can't make that money work a little harder for you. So Apple sent out notifications for their event. It wasn't really expected. So the invitation morphed from this scary looking apple to this scary looking Mac face, similar to what you see for the Finder icon. So this was unusual, hi Bob, because it was at 5 o'clock Pacific time, which made it 8 o'clock in the Eastern time zone. And it was only 30 minutes long, which is scary fast. Usually Apple presentations lately have been 2 hours long. So a couple of interesting facts, but wait, there's more. So the presentation started off with a video showing how different people doing different things on their Macs. Said it was hard, but it was easy with a Mac. So here's a little, we might call this an Easter egg. This is a bat, and there were lots of bats flying across this scene as the drone zoomed into the Apple campus. And then, as they got in closer to the walkway, we notice a pirate flag. Now, this not only pays homage to Halloween, but to the early development of the Mac, where the Mac team flew a pirate flag over their building. And then CEO Tim Cook appeared. And hi, Chris. Oh, hang on a second. I have my other Mac here was doing an update, and all of a sudden a YouTube video started. So pay attention here to this picture, the quality of this image, the darks, the lights, the facial tone, and we'll talk about that a little later. Yep, Chris, they could have spent more time. So what they introduced was the new Apple Silicon chips, the M3, the M3 Pro, the M3 Max, the MacBook Pro 14-inch, the MacBook Pro 16-inch, and the iMac 24-inch. So they went into the research, the R&D space here at Apple, and the Senior Vice President of Hardware Technologies did another little reference to Halloween when he said, "Welcome to my lab." He has a kind of a German accent. So he talked all about the technical specs, which we won't go into. That's all on Apple's website if you want to look at that. But I don't think it matters for your everyday use. So the M3, the M3 Pro, and the M3 Max, and this is what they look like. from the M3 to the Pro to the Max. They're very dense systems on a chip, or SoCs. And so they are using a 3 nanometer technology. And this really blows my mind. So the M3 has 25 billion transistors. The M3 Pro has 37 billion transistors. And the M3 Pro, the M3 Max, has 92 billion transistors. It's just amazing. So this makes the graphics processing unit up to 2.5 times faster. It has a faster Neuro engine. And the hardware is accelerated for mesh shading and ray tracing. And this makes a difference in gaming and other high-end graphics. So you can get on the M3 24 gigabytes of memory maximum, on the M3 Pro 36 gigabytes, and on the M3 Max a whopping 128 gigabytes, which is pretty good for a laptop computer. Here is something that's very interesting: AV1 decode. So AV1 is from a consortium of companies. So what that means to you is that you're going to have better playback on videos such as Netflix. So that was an addition to the new chips. So some of the things they pointed out is that you can have up to 22 hours of battery life, and that the performance doesn't degrade when you're running on the battery as opposed to running on AC power. Some PC laptops apparently are choked down when you're running on battery. It has the world's best laptop display, and they brought out a new color, space black. So this is a space black here, and they're highlighting the MagSafe connector, which automatically disconnects with any kind of a tug on the cable so your laptop doesn't go tumbling to the floor. So as we look at the different pieces of information, it has a 6-speaker sound system with spatial audio. Of course, it comes in a 16 and a 14-inch screen. They will ship with Mac OS Sonoma. They mentioned that the advanced thermal cooling system will probably not be used because it doesn't overheat that much, so only in the most aggressive computing situations will that fan ever come on. The keyboard has a Touch ID, and then we have the ray tracing for games. The Mac, or the M3 Max, will support up to 4 monitors. They all have an SD card slot for your camera, Thunderbolt ports, and HDMI port for an external monitor or connecting it to your TV set. And that brilliant display is an XDR liquid retina display, so very, very high end. So let's look at the configurations here. So we have the basic configuration with the M3 chip, and that starts at $1599, which they said is a drop in price. However, when you look at the specs on that, it's probably not going to be what you want, so you're probably going to be upgrading the storage memory on that, so it's going to cost more. Then on the 14-inch with a Pro chip, that starts at $1999, and you can get the Max chip in there as well. And then when we move to the 16-inch MacBook Pro, that starts at $2499, which is the same price as the existing M2. And again, you might want to update that or upgrade that, so that price might be a little higher depending on how much storage you want. So I love this setup here, but if you're not this guy, with 4 monitors actually, and obviously a 16-inch M3 Max, and this nice acoustical treatment here on 3 sides of his computing space. But I wanted to point out another little Halloween reference. Here we have this skull in a glass globe. And would you believe that this is part of his living room? So here he is in his living room, and we have a vice president here talking about the MacBooks. And another little reference here is an owl sitting on the railing on his balcony. So they're putting a lot of little Halloween things here and there. Now we come to the iMac 24-inch. So no 27-inch, as some of you have been hoping for. So they come in 7 colors: the green, the yellow, orange, red, purple, blue, and the traditional silver. So they said that the new iMacs are 2.5 times faster than a Intel 27-inch iMac and 4 times faster than an Intel 21.5-inch iMac. So if you're using an older iMac that you've noticed is getting slower because it has a newer operating system, and that's just what happens, then this might be the time to upgrade and get some speed back in your computing life. So let's look at the different features here. You can get up to 24 gigabytes of memory, up to 2 terabytes of storage. And we're going to talk about the Touch ID here in a second. It has a 4.5K Retina screen. The keyboard and mouse are color matched to the colors of the computer. It has a 6-speaker sound system with spatial audio, a 1080p built-in FaceTime camera for those Zoom meetings. Comes with macOS Sonoma. It has studio quality microphones, and they mentioned that it has seamless integration with your iPhone. For example, you can scan something on your iPhone and it will appear on your iMac. They have the latest version of Bluetooth 5.3 and a recent version of Wi-Fi 6E, which makes your Wi-Fi faster if you have a Wi-Fi 6E router, of course. Always a catch. So they said, again, the starting price is $12.99. That may not work for you. So let's look at what $12.99 buys you. So you get 256 gigabytes of storage and 8 gigabytes of memory. But you'll notice here 2 little underscores. That means something is missing. And what's missing is 2 ports and an Ethernet port and a keyboard with Touch ID. So really, for most people, I would say the entry-level price is $14.99 because you want to have those ports, and the Touch ID is definitely worth the price of admission. And as you can see here, they have one with more storage at $16.99. So I spec'd out a iMac here. So let's zoom in here. You can see that. So this is an M3 with 1 terabyte of storage. That's what the big price increase is for. 8 gigs of memory, 2 Thunderbolt ports and 2 USB-C 3 ports, and Ethernet, a Touch ID keyboard with a numeric keypad and a magic mouse. So that is $19.29. But what? You could buy an M2 Mac Mini with a 27-inch monitor. So let's look at what that might be. So here we are. on the Apple site. So a Mac Mini, that's an M2 with 8 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte of storage, Ethernet, 2 Thunderbolt USB-C ports, and 2 USB-A ports, which is really handy for those existing peripherals. And if you wanted to add a new keyboard with Touch ID and a numeric keypad, that's $200, and the Magic Mouse, and these are both in the black, and that would be $99. So that brings our total to $1,408. Well, then you would need a monitor. So here is an LG 4K monitor. It's on a special pricing right now, $196, we'll call it $197. So that means that the Mac Mini is $1,409. The monitor is $197. That gives you a total of $1,606. If you have your existing keyboard and mouse and you're happy with those, then you could subtract $300 from that and come in at $1,306 for a Mac Mini with a 27-inch screen. So something to consider. Now there are rumors that there might be a 32-inch iMac coming in the foreseeable future, like a year or maybe 2 years from now, but that is just a rumor. So if your Mac is showing its age, this is a way to get to a 27-inch screen and save some money. So the last slide showed us that this whole event was shot on an iPhone. That's why I drew your attention to the beautiful tones in that first picture of Tim Cook. And it was edited on a Mac. And in this small print that you cannot probably even read, it says all presenters, locations, and drone footage was shot on an iPhone 15 Pro Max. So they're putting their money where their mouth is. They're using their own tools to produce these, and I think you might consider that quality was excellent. If you didn't know that wasn't shot on professional equipment, you wouldn't know. So let's get to our questions. If you haven't already, please type your questions in the comment section there on YouTube. And do me a favor, share the GoFor Gazette with one person you know that uses Apple products, and that comes out every Monday morning about 7 o'clock. And please like and subscribe if you haven't already. That lets more people know, and ring that bell to be notified when we go online. And Zoom is updating again. Yesterday they went to version 5.16.6, so if you don't get automatic updates on Zoom, go ahead and do that. So let's see what you're talking about. So Chris mentions that he's surprised by the RAM limits on the M3 and the M3 Pro. And Bob is remembering that having a 1950s radio with 9 transistors, and he thought he was on the bleeding edge. And that radio probably cost close to $100. And Chris says, yep, that 1 transistor crystal radio with a clip on a wire for an antenna and 1 earphone. Yep, those were the good old days. So Chris is asked, is that a real 24 gigabyte or a 16 gigabyte plus 8 for video only? No, I think that's real gigabyte. The GPU is separate. And Chris mentions that the $12.99 model is principally for computer labs in education, and it probably is cheaper in the education market. And Bob has a pair of LG 27-inch monitors that he is satisfied with. And Chris says max RAM on the M2 Mini is 32 gigabytes. That's a good question. Let's just check that out. So here we are. And if we go to Mac Mini, and buy, and here's storage. Oh, storage, they're not telling us here. Well, that says, oh, you were asking about RAM. So let's select this guy, which is the high-end Mac Mini, and yep, 32. That's all you can get is 32 and 2 terabytes. Oh no, you can get 8 terabytes of storage memory. So that's pretty good. So the Scary Fast presentation was scary fast, as is our presentation. So hopefully you learned something about the new products from Apple. And if you have any questions or would like help configuring a new system, then let me know. I'd be glad to help you with that. And if you have any other questions, my contact information, my email, my phone number are coming up right now. So have a tremendous Tuesday. We'll see you next week, same time, high noon, for Go for Lunch.